If you're a coach or agency owner working 10 to 12 hours a day while still stuck in that 30K month mark, this is going to sting a little because the problem isn't your effort, it's not your ads, it's not the fact that you're bad at sales, it's that you're focused on the wrong things. My name is Tuda, I work 3 to 4 hours a day on my business and I'm still at 54K a month, balancing hobbies, still hanging out with friends, and just enjoying life. Not because I work harder, but because client acquisition runs without me having to babysit it. You see, most coaches obsess over fancy sales techniques, getting more leads, putting in more ad spend before they have the proper trust and positioning. So they either end up with fewer calls or they end up with a lot of calls of people who need to be convinced. Both are losing games. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you the exact nurture-based process. We use that properly position your ads for your ICP so that they call themselves out, pre-frames and nurture so hard that the sales call is just a payment call. And finally, having a structure that fires you from the business so that you can work on the business and not it. This is the same process that we use to take our agency to 54K last month with just $500 ad spend. And it's the same one that cooked for other coaches like Andy, who's doing over $1 million a year in revenue with Impact on Me, or Noah, who went from scratch to 100K a month with his solar offer, or Phil, who went from 0 to 48K a month in just 6 weeks. So I'm going to be breaking this video down into 3 main parts so you have clear direction on how to build a system taking advantage of Meta's algorithm to make sure that you're getting a ton of people who are your ideal client profile, the exact funnels and frameworks to make sure people love you and all your sales calls are just cash collecting calls, and how to build a structure that lets you work on your business for 1 to 2 hours a day instead of in the business like an employee in your own company. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so now I'm going to be running through exactly what I used and what settings I did for my Facebook ad campaigns to make sure I was taking advantage of everything that the new Andromeda update has to offer us. So the biggest mistake that coaches get wrong is trying to filter out prospects before they even come in. So the purpose of an ad is to get 100 people, and you want to convert 100 of those people into 10 meetings. And out of those 10 meetings, you get 1 to 2 clients. You won't have to worry about show up rate because we maintain a 90% plus show up rate as long as you're nurturing properly, which I'm going to get into later on in the video. So this is the exact settings that we use to make sure that we were getting $4 cost per lead with only $500 ad spend. As you can see here, we got 100 leads from this and we did over 54K. So here I'm going to be running through exactly step by step what you want to do. So when you're choosing your campaign objective, make sure it's a lead campaign. And then after that, you're going to be able to select your Facebook page. Make sure your performance goal says maximize number of leads. You don't want cost per result goal. Value rules, enabled, no, just keep these at the same. So essentially how the old way before the Andromeda update came to be is you would turn Advantage Plus off. You would have your audience as a broad audience. You're not doing any detailed targeting and you're setting the ages from 18 through 65. So now you want to make sure that all your settings are on, the Advantage Plus is on, and that you have dynamic creative on. And make sure you guys turn dynamic creative on because it's going to be really important to make sure that you're making the most out of Andromeda settings that I cover later on. So for your audience, make sure that Advantage Plus is on, like I mentioned. You don't have to be using a saved audience here. We're just starting from scratch. For the controls, you're not going to have anything. Locations, for locations, we have it set for United States here, but you can also target Canada. If you're from the UK, you target, United Kingdom. If you're from Australia, target Australia. So you won't have to worry about clicking show more controls because you're not going to be doing any detailed targeting. So you're not going to be putting any tags or any interest tags on there because it's just going to increase the friction that Andromeda has to find your ideal client profile. So we want to make sure that we don't have any friction so Andromeda can just find those people correctly. So after the Andromeda update in October, you don't have to worry about making sure you're doing manual placements and you can just leave Advantage Plus on. Before, what you would have to do is make sure the manual placements were on Instagram stories, Facebook Reels, and Instagram Reels, just those 4, but now you can just let Advantage Plus take care of the rest. Make sure you have partnership ads off. You don't have to worry about identity. Make sure that you have multi-advertiser ads on. That's exactly what we had. And in here, if you have dynamic creative on, you'll be able to select multiple different images inside a certain ad creative. So you can add 10 into the same ad. And just to clarify, I don't mean ad set level where you'll be able to add 10 ads inside an ad set, but I mean you'll be able to add 10 creatives inside a single ad from the ad level. not the ad set level. Andromeda is going to be able to test all of those images that you put into that one ad, and you want to give it as much control as possible to make sure that it can target the right people. So what we did for our creatives is very, very simple. Because we're giving Andromeda as much control with the settings as possible, we want our ad creative or video creative to do as much of the heavy lifting as possible for it. So we want to be able to call out the ideal customer profile. If you're running video ads and testing out different videos, make sure there are separate campaigns for videos and static ads. So if you're testing different static ads, like the one at the bottom here, you want to test 40 to 50 different statics. And with your video ads, you're going to be testing 5 to 20 different video ads. So for example, these are in the daytime while this one is in the nighttime. Some are in different settings as well. So now with Andromeda ads, as long as your ad creative is good, it has a good offer and it also has a good call out, and it's actually targeting your ICP because it's going to find the right pocket of people. So as long as your ad creatives and your videos have the right call outs and a good offer, you can just pop them into the ad and then it will cook for you. And that's what we've done to get $3 to $4 cost per lead, and what we've done to get around $15 direct booking. So this is the ChatGPT prompt that we used. Make a 1080 by 1080 ad creative using offer. I'm going to go through exactly what a good offer is and making sure that your guys' offer is fulfilling all of the check marks that we need to make sure that it is a no-brainer. So I ask it to make it niche themed, like here we were targeting Christian agency owners and coaches, or we make it whatever your ICP theme is and have a button in the ad that says learn more. And we ask it to be creative and unique. So every time it pops in, all we do is just tell it again, make another creative again, or make it whatever offer theme that you guys have. So once it spits out an ad creative, all we do is we just tell it to do it again. So these ads cook for us, and they also cook for our partners, getting around $1 to $5 cost per lead with just this. It's pretty simple. So now I'm going to go through exactly what makes a good offer, just so you guys can make sure, you're checking all of the boxes. The thing you guys have to understand is no one cares what you do. So if you go out there saying, hey, I have a program that helps you lose weight, or I have a program that helps you learn how to trade, no one really cares about this program that you have. They only care about the result that they get. So I like using this analogy. It's whenever you're on an airplane, you don't care about what snacks there are. You don't really care about which seat you're sitting in, whether it's the front of the plane or if it's the back of the plane. You only care about making sure that you get to your destination. Let's say you're flying to Hawaii, right? You're in Florida right now and you're flying to Hawaii. The only result that you care about is the fact that you'll get to Hawaii at the end of the day. What a lot of people do with their offer is they offer exactly what they think that their client thinks they want. So a lot of mistakes that coaches do is that they start offering something that their prospect thinks they want, but not actually what they want. So I'm going to explain a little bit. Let's say they're currently here and the offer is, hey, 100 leads guaranteed. Say it checks marks them here. It doesn't get them to Hawaii, but it gets them to maybe Texas. 100 leads guaranteed. It's not going to get them to where they want to get to. So some people are just going to add on to that. Maybe, hey, instead of the leads, we'll actually turn those leads into appointments, and then we'll add a time frame into it, right? Oh, now you're getting them to California here, right? They're getting to California now. And then they'll add on to it. Oh, maybe I'll just give them more appointments. Or maybe I'll make sure that the appointments are shown in 90 days, or you don't have to pay. They're going to be adding a guarantee clause for them. Right? It's going to check every box, but it's not going to fill the gap, which is the result that they actually want, which is getting to Hawaii. Or if it's an agency coaching offer, it's 15 clients. Or maybe it's a trading offer. It's your first profitable trades. Maybe it's a content offer, maybe hitting that 10K followers. That's the result that they actually want. It's not I'm going to help you edit and script all of your videos. It's the fact that I'm going to get you to that 10K a month mark. Or it's the fact that I'm going to get you to that 10K followers mark. So that's what they actually want. The offer that we used, that one, is we'll use our unique mechanism to help you get a tangible result, or you don't have to pay. So you want to make sure that it, one, completes the gap. Number two, it has a unique mechanism, like what you actually offer and what it's called, an irresistible offer, which is that actual tangible, and then finally a risk reversal. So it's just a no-brainer offer. So for example, right, let's say you're doing a fitness offer, calling out your ICP and saying, hey, come use our weight loss program. You want to target them, complete a gap, have a unique mechanism, have an irresistible offer, which is a specific tangible of the result that they're going to get. We want to make sure that our offer completes the gap. It has a unique mechanism, an irresistible offer, which is something tangible, something that's results-based that they can imagine once they're actually seeing the creative. And finally, some sort of risk reversal. So instead, it would say Asian men lose 10 to 15 pounds in the next 45 days using our Southeast Asian workout program without having to give up cultural foods you enjoy. This completes all of the 4 checklists that you have. So maybe you're running a trading offer. Hey, learn how to trade using our trading program. No one really cares about the program. Target your ICP. Hey, new traders, make your first profitable trade in the next 5 days without having to risk your savings. So this is an offer that is going to get new traders in because they can actually see a tangible result from the offer, from the creative, or from the video ad. We want to make sure that this offer is actually inside of the video ad, or it is inside of the different creatives that you make with your ChatGPT. Once you have that, now I'm going to be breaking down a little bit more about the lead form, how it's going to look like. So like I mentioned, it's the biggest mistake that coaches get wrong. It's trying to filter out prospects before they even come in. Like I said, the purpose of an ad is to get 100 people. The purpose of an ad is not to get one super qualified person to just book in and then pay you. That's not how the ads are going to work. You're going to get 100 people. You want to reduce as much friction as possible. So qualified doesn't mean that they're ready to be a customer and they're ready to pay you. It just means that they have the potential to be a customer. So this is an example of a client right here. So we just say, hey there, fill in your info down below and we'll text you how it works. Right? It's very important that we say text just to reduce the friction. They're not going to be getting a call. You'll have automation set up exactly for that. So what you want to do, really simple, have your full name, email, phone number, and you guys don't have to worry about the privacy policy here. All you need to do is just go on terms feed and just like ask it to write one up. You can go to ChatGPT, ask it to write one up as well, and then just paste it into Google Docs. What you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, thanks, you're all set. Due to high demand, our spots are very limited. Book now. And then this is going to lead into a calendar page. So I'm going to be breaking down exactly what happens and what it's going to look like for the prospect when they book a call in or when they actually fill out their form. So it's going to be a go high level automation. There's going to be a trigger. The Facebook lead form has been submitted. It's going to create an opportunity inside your opportunities tab. It's going to assign to a user. The webhook is, say you're going to connect it to Zapier, to like Discord or something. You're going to connect it to a Discord server so you get the leads pinging you, and you have an email sent to them, and it's also going to send a SMS over to them. So this is what it looks like inside of our Discord server. It's like it has their first name, last name, phone number, email, exactly what's on the lead form that they filled out, and then where it actually came from. This is what it's going to look like. Hey, our automation is just very, very simple. It's just, hey, this is name, yeah? This is John, yeah? And the reason why we have that is because we want to just sound as human as possible. That way they can just say, hey, yeah, or who is this? That way we know that they're actually on the other side. So what it looks like for when they book a call is they're going to book a call with the team. They're going to have, the offer is going to be at the top of the page, right? And then you're basically just going to be able to book within same day or next day. We don't want them to be booking out any further than that. And the reason why is because show up rate is going to be a problem and some people might forget. So this is exactly what it looks like inside the Discord when someone does a direct booking. Hey, there's a direct booking for whoever the closer is. In this case, it pinged me. Name, John Lopez, phone number, business stage. So whenever they're booking in a direct booking, you're going to have qualifying questions here because there isn't a setter to basically qualify the lead. So whenever they do a direct booking, there's going to be qualifying questions that the setter is going to ask the leads. But since they're doing a direct booking, we'll just do the qualification here. So for example, this is their business stage. They're just starting out. They're maybe 0 to 5K a month. Their biggest bottleneck right now is getting high quality leads. So we ask the question what they're able to invest for 15 clients. If that number is around 1 to 500, or maybe it's 500 to 2,000, if it's under 2,000, there's going to be a conditional question that pops up where it asks them what their credit score is. If their credit score is around the 500 mark, another conditional logic question is going to come up and it's going to ask them, hey, do they have at least $2,000? If they say no, then they don't have the money, they don't have the financial qualifications, they don't have any of the credit score, so legitimately they cannot get into the program no matter what. So finally, we have the question, hey, can you 100% attend? Yes, we have yes. If they say no, like, hey, we're going to give your spot away. Make sure that you actually can attend just to try to increase show up rate here. Also, we do ask them for their Instagram just in case, maybe their phone number doesn't work or maybe they're not picking up. We can send them a message over on their Instagram. So this is exactly what it looks like when someone does a direct booking, and this is the text message that they're going to receive. It's really important. The way we frame this is pretty cool. I've never seen anybody else do this. So, hey, name, it's just Tuda with Ave Crew. That's the company name. You're booked in, but quick little fun challenge for you. I'm going to be calling you soon on my personal, but if you beat me and text me first, I'll give you a gift. I'm sure you'll like. Text my personal. And then you just slot in your closer's personal phone into there. Your closer is just going to be getting text message after text message from all the direct bookings. He won't even have to be reaching out first. It's the leads that are going to be coming in and reaching out first to your closer. Lead directly booked, lead didn't book in. So regardless of whether it is a lead or a direct booking, you want to make sure that your setter or closer calls them within the first 5 minutes to either book in a call or number 2, nurture. So book in a call and nurture for the setter, and just nurture and send over resources to make sure that they're on the same page and you're helping as much as possible and building a gap before that actual call. So I'm going to be getting into that. So this is a nurture-based setting process. So people make emotional decisions and they like justifying it with logic. So what that means is we want to build a gap from where they are to where they want to be, what the ramifications of not being at where they want to be is, how long that's been going on, how long it's been impacting them, how they feel from it, actually digging and probing in deeper on their pain point, where they really want to get to and what that actually means for them, and then coming in as a solution. So what a lot of appointment setters like to do is, instead of trying to build a gap, is they kind of just get a feeling of where they are, what they're having trouble with. And then after that, they'll just be like, hey, if we were able to help you get those 15 leads within the next 30 days, like, would you be open or would you be interested for a call with us? That's how they do it. But what we want to do is we want to come in a different stance, a very neutral stance. So this is exactly how we do it. Hey, is this name? It's just Tootie here from company name. You clicked on one of our ads talking about XYZ offer, whichever offer you're running. Does that ring a bell? Yeah. All right. So give me a rundown of your situation. So now when they're giving you a rundown of their situation, you want to kind of understand what they're doing to get more leads, or what they're doing to lose more weight, or what they're doing to make more money with trading. Or so we try to figure out what they're doing, and we kind of see the situation that they're actually in and what they're getting from using that vehicle. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, right? And then we kind of try to figure out why they're even looking for help or guidance, right? Or why they're even looking for some sort of coach to help them with whatever they're struggling with. So we want to understand what their pain points are. We dig in deeper. We ask probing questions like, what do you mean by that? How do you mean by that? Like, how long has that been going on for? And once we actually dig deep enough, like how it's impacted them in their life, we want to see like, hey, if you were able to solve this, like, what is your goal with this? Like, where do you really want to take this, say, in the next 6 months? So we're trying to see where they're trying to take the business, because it's really building a gap from where they are to where they want to be. Once you have that, it's really important that you position yourself as a solution this way. But you're not pitching them for an appointment immediately. What you're doing is you're coming in and just offering help. So it's like, hey, would it be helpful if I, sent this video or resource for you to look at? It's going to make sure it helps with XYZ pain point that they just mentioned to you, and make sure that you don't have to deal with this future potential pain, or make sure that you avoid these pitfalls when they're starting out with whatever offer, whatever that they're doing. Oh yeah, it would be. Once you send over that nurture video, you're basically just hyping it up. Like, what we say is like, hey, when people watch this video, they actually come to us. They've already signed their first 5 clients from just watching the video that I'm about to send you. So make sure you watch that, okay? Is this a good number that I can send this over to? Yeah. And no worries, does tomorrow, Monday, 3 p.m. work for you to kind of continue this chat and kind of see if this is something that we can help with? You want to be assumptive in the sense that you don't want to ask them if they're interested to book a meeting or they're interested to have a chat. You just want to be assumptive. You've already given them a certain resource that they're going to watch. It's going to help them. If it's going to help them, you already have a meeting booked out for tomorrow. So we're basically trying to build desire and help out as much as possible. So obviously, this is what the closer and the setter are going to do. The only difference with the closer is that they don't have to book the appointment. All they need to do is just get a rundown of their situation, build that gap, and then offer the resource and video for them to watch so that they come onto the call nurtured, already binge watched a bunch of the content, and already binge watched a bunch of the reels and the content and different videos that you have on your channel. Obviously, if you're a setter, they're going to be booking in, and they're also going to be financially qualifying, just to see if, they have good credit or if they have the investment necessary, or even if they're willing to make an investment in the first place. So we just want to financially qualify, make sure your setter does that. This is just a general checklist, right? Your setter and your closer has called within the first 5 minutes and created that desire. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have the setter transfer trust by putting the prospect in a group chat with the closer. So what this is going to look like is it's going to look like this. The setter ensures the lead has resources to watch just to make sure that they're being nurtured with a 7-11-4 rule, which is they watch at least 7 hours of content, maybe 11 different videos across 4 different platforms. So finally, the closer sends voice memos of meeting from his iPhone and also calls the lead just to kind of get to know them. What it's going to look like is like, hey, Britton, it's just the setter's name from Agency Ascension or whatever your company's name is. We just got off the phone. This is my personal line. The other number in here is one of the advisors. Duda, you're going to be speaking to him tomorrow about, making sure you hit your goals and trying to solve that problem. And what you're going to do is you're going to be sending over a voice message, or your closer is, and it's going to be on the lines of like, hey, well, what's up, David? I saw that you scheduled in a call for tomorrow. I know you talked to our setter. I hope you had a good chat, by the way, and hype up those videos again, because what you're trying to do is take that cold lead who has the potential to be a customer, and you're just nurturing the hell out of them so they become an organic lead. They come onto the call literally the same way someone finds your YouTube video and is a huge fan of all the videos that you have, and they book a call in with you. So we're trying to replicate the same way organic leads are, except with paid traffic and proper nurturing. So you're just going to hype up the videos. So what we're doing, right, is finding the problem. We have the goal, and you are the bridge to that goal. You're offering them that resource for them to watch. So the setter is going to book in the appointment when he's talking to the lead on their behalf on the phone, and make sure that he only books it in for today and tomorrow, no day after tomorrow, and it ensures that the show up rate is going to be high. So now I'm going to be running over exactly what we send and how to structure that, because automations are only 3 to 5% of show up rate, and desire is actually the other 95 to 97% of show up rate. As long as we're creating desire, the setter or the closer is creating desire, and they've watched certain resources from us, that desire is only going to grow. So for example, what we want to do is we want to make 6 different YouTube videos, or maybe Loom videos that we can send over to them, basically going over 6 different pain points. So for example, maybe they have bad leads, or maybe they don't have any direction. Maybe they're bad at sales, or they're bad at marketing. Maybe you're handling limiting beliefs, or maybe they're scared, or maybe, they're just lost. So find a pain point that your ICP has and make a video about it. So this is exactly what we do. So aside from the videos that we send, we also send them a landing page, basically going over the most frequently asked questions, and we make sure that they have to watch this before hopping on the call. So the setter is also going to be telling them, hey, we're going to also send you frequently asked questions. Make sure you give those a watch after you watch the initial video. So basically, how this goes is like, hey, step 2 out of 2 complete, great work. You've completed our application process. Just make sure you watch the video below. So you're setting expectations here. And at the bottom, it's like you're going to get a call soon from your closer. So this is the page that they get if they do a direct booking. If they do a direct booking, it goes straight into this page. So what it's going to do is, 1, is going to be confirming the email invite that you have. 2, increasing the show up rate. And 3, reading nurture emails. So you're basically just setting expectations, like how the program is going to go, what the refund or worst case scenario is, what the guarantee is, or whatever question that they might have. So you find 6 different questions, and you make, 2 to 5 minute videos from that, basically just answering all of their questions. So this is examples, like next step, what to do, watch these videos below. The program guidelines, worst case scenario, our mission, right? The guarantee, or maybe who we don't want. If you're this type of person, just cancel the call. Like, this is not for you. Maybe because it's bad. What we do here is, so basically we just drop some testimonials here and kind of go on. And once you have all the videos done inside the landing page, the rest of the page is just going to be testimonials that you guys have. Once the person actually shows up onto the call, we want to make sure that they close. So if your closer has properly nurtured them, the call is going to be easy peasy because they're just an organic lead. So what you want to do at the start of the call, ask your closer to do this, right? Make sure that they watched the videos. They've actually watched the YouTube, and they've gone through the next step page. This is going to build authority, make sure that, I'm not going to take this call if you haven't done that yet. It's the same process as the sending call. You want to find a problem and inflate the problem. So what we do is we actually make the closers screen share a document, and that is a business assessment document. That document is basically going to be fill in the blanks for a service and offer, how many clients you have, current revenue, and basically different information about prospect. But here's one very important thing that you guys don't miss. We don't really care about what their service and offer is. We don't really care about how many clients that they have, what their goals are. The reason why we're asking this is because if they cannot fill out a certain thing that's important, like service and offer, or maybe book call dailies, what their show up rate is, maybe what their lead quality, maybe what their cost per qualified book shown book call is. So if they don't know these certain metrics, like we want to ask them, like we'll just rip them, flame them on why they don't know. And basically that's going to get out a lot of limiting beliefs from them. So one very important thing is we're not really asking the service and offer or their KPIs because we want to know. It's because if they don't have these tracked, we're going to find a problem. Like, hey, why don't you know this, right? If you're trying to scale to 20K a month, or you're already at this amount, like if you don't understand what your KPIs are, how are you going to make sure that you can actually increase your revenue? For example, if you guys don't know your show up rate, how are you going to fix your show up rate? So if you go from a 40% show up rate to an 80% show up rate, you're essentially just doubling the revenue that you do. And you're trying to find a problem. You're trying to inflate that problem, right? The same way you're doing in the setting process, right? You're finding the pain points, how it's affecting them, how long it's been going on. One very important thing that you guys do, or your closer needs to do, is he needs to ask what they've done, like what's prevented them and what's shifted now in terms of finding a solution to get out of this hole that they're in. So this is exactly where he's going to be pre-handling a lot of the objections that are going to come at the end of the call. Maybe this is fear. Maybe this is perfectionism. Maybe they feel like it's never the right time. So we want to pre-handle those objections before they even come up. And we want to make sure those are tied down. So by the end of the call, we're not getting those objections and it's just a flawless close. Once we actually do the pre-handling, we find what prevented them, what's shifted now, why they're even looking for a second option or why they're even looking for coaching in the first place. We ask them what their goal is. We take them all the way up and we ask what it means to them. And then once we do that, we ask consequence questions. So what the consequence questions are is essentially we want to see like what happens if we don't make sure that this is solved? What happens if we keep staying here? What happens if we don't reach this? What happens then? And this is basically where, they're going to take accountability. It's going to be hard questions to ask, but it is the reality because all this is your closer is going to be helping the prospect make the most educated decision because your closer is going to be helping your prospect make an educated decision for the better of their life. So what your closer is going to be doing is helping your prospect come to an educated decision, an educated and well-informed decision. So that also means having them understand where they are, where they want to be, what happens if they don't get to there, what needs to change, why they want to change, why it's important to do it now, or why won't you do it 2 years in the future. Finally, they're going to take accountability and whose responsibility is it to actually make sure that they're getting to that goal. That's when the prospect is going to take accountability and he's going to be going over like whose responsibility is it to actually get to that goal. Of course, it's going to be the prospects. And are they willing to settle for this reality, which is the pit that they're currently in? Are they willing to settle for that reality? No, of course not. So this is exactly where we come in and we start pitching them. So for example, we pitch them in 3 different pillars. We don't have a pitch deck. We don't have a presentation. What we do is we customize the 3 pillars for exactly what they need to do. So we're going to customize the 3 pillars for exactly what they're going to get based off their pain points. So we're not going to have any objections. And the reason why is because we've already pre-handled them here. So for example, if they have a low volume of leads, we're basically going to be framing the 3 pillars like, hey, remember how you mentioned when you were filling out the form? Because we have the pain points, like what they're struggling with. Maybe they don't understand how to do an offer. We're going to help them create an offer. We're going to help them increase show up rate. We're going to help them increase their close rate. So we have all this information from that business assessment sheet, which was initially used to try to find their pain point, inflate any problems or try to find any limiting beliefs that they have. But it comes in handy a little bit when you're trying to pitch something personalized. So remember how you mentioned while we were filling out the form, you weren't getting good enough leads and we both agreed that it was because you didn't have the right targeting. So we're going to give you a proven offer that works. So the leads coming in are qualified customers that your service applies to. So you don't have to waste any more time with tire kickers. So what we did here is we just customized and tailored our pitch, one of our pillars, exactly to the problem that they're facing. Hey, we're going to just solve that for you. I got you, bro. And then once we do the 3 pillars, we double down. We just make sure that they actually like it. Like, hey, do you feel like these 3 pillars is something that can help me? Oh yeah, of course. Why specifically though? Why do you feel like it can help you? Okay, so if you feel like it can help you, I guess what could actually go wrong? Given that you have the right resources, you have the right tools, you have everything that you need, do you feel like anything could go wrong? The question you're looking for is no. If they tell you no, nothing can go wrong. If they tell you no, nothing can go wrong, you're essentially pre-handling, maybe this isn't going to work for me, or that fear objection that they're going to have later on because you're empowering them, or you're pre-handling certain fears that they have. Maybe if they say yes, it's like, okay, on those 3 pillars, like what do you feel like needs to change to make sure that feeling of uncertainty goes all the way to a 10 and you feel like this is something that's going to work for you? Oh, maybe I need to add this, right? And then you'll tailor and customize it to them again. So if they tell you no, nothing can go wrong, then you've pitched properly and you've done it correctly. Finally, you'll take the payment call. So even though these are organic people coming in, we still want to make them go through this entire process. And the reason why is because you can never be too sure. Always do the tie downs, always make them understand. It doesn't matter if they're practically giving you it. Do 12 out of all 10 tie downs that you can do to make sure that there are no objections and it is a 100% close. Right? They already like you. They already know who you are. You already have the authority. So might as well just ask these questions and build that gap and handle all of the limiting beliefs if there are any. So finally, you'll get to the payment. By the way, if you guys are still watching this, there actually is a secret word, right? I'm going to send you something special if you DM me the word seafood, right? I'm going to send you the entire objection handling frameworks. That way you can always collect payments on call. So just popping that in there. Few seconds. So now that I've gone through exactly what our setters and closers are doing and what the process actually looks like to make sure someone cold that could be a customer comes onto the call as an organic lead and literally just closes like that. So now we want to make sure we structure the right company so that we can get to that position where closers and setters are getting these people in. What we do is we have closers, right? So we have the appointment setters. So this is the exact payment structure that we have for our closers or the CSMs that we have under us. So we have appointment setters, make sure that they're US based, they can speak fluent English, and they're on a 5% commission on the cash collected. So what this means is they're not getting any base pay, they're not getting any salary, no retainer. All of the money that they make come from the performance that they do. So the more leads that they call, the more appointments that they book, the better they are at talking to people, the more money that they're going to make. The same thing with the closers. Want to make sure that they're US based, they're fluent in English. It doesn't even have to be US based, by the way. Maybe you guys are in the UK, you can have a UK closer, right? Just make sure that they can talk fluent English and their commissions could be around 8 to 12% on the cash collected. For us, we have them at 10. Same thing. No base salary, no retainer. What we want to do is we want to incentivize them getting better at closing, them getting better sales, them being more on top of calling the leads within the first 5 minutes. So the better that they perform, the more money that they're going to make. So for fulfillment, we have customer success managers to make sure that our clients are all kept up to date. They're actually getting talked to, they have proper communication, and they're getting the help that they need. What we do is we have a variable based pay for them. So it's $150 per month per client, and they get 10% of our rev share from that client. So we get 10%. So essentially they're getting 10% of 10%. So let's say one of the clients get to $10,000 a month. The CSM was basically just giving them the resources, helping them with whatever questions that they have. They'll get an extra $100 to $200 from that because they have a 10% rev share with the clients. So the CSMs, they have a variable base pay. They have a base, but they're also on commission as well because they have rev share bonuses. So if you have around 20 clients, they're going to be making at least $4,000 a month. If we have 35 clients, like they're going to be making $7,000 a month. So here are the rev share bonuses for the CSMs. Like the higher that the client is, maybe the client's at $100,000 a month, they're going to be making $1,000 to $2,000 per client. So essentially what that means is the base plus rev share. They could, at 20 clients, they could be making $3,000 a month guaranteed, plus a $2,000 to $40,000 a month, depending on how good the clients are. Same thing, like if they have 35 clients, it's $5,250 guaranteed, along with like $3.5K to $70K that they could be making just off the rev share. So how do we actually fulfill once they're onboarded? So everything that I just showed you, how to scale your coaching offer, is the exact fulfillment that we have for our clients, right? It's the same exact system. I showed you it works for hundreds of different offers. Like if you just can copy and scale it for yourself, what you can do is you can just apply it to another offer and charge thousands for it. What your system looks like. So as the CEO of the company and the main coach, you do not want to have your business structure like this. So the CEO does not want to be having a full sales calendar. He does not want to be setting and nurturing leads, and he does not want to be managing multiple clients. So meanwhile, yes, you do have low costs because you are the one doing everything, right? You don't have any overhead costs. Maybe there's some sort of software that you use, or maybe the ads, but that's about it. You don't have to pay anybody, and you're in on 100%. So the costs are relatively low. You're only going to be having to pay ad spend, maybe some sort of software cost that you use, but you don't have to pay anybody except yourself. However, this comes at a drawback, right? You're going to have a lot of work hours because you have a full sales calendar. You're setting and you're nurturing these leads, making sure that they're watching these videos that you send over to them, make sure they're watching the next step videos that you're sending to them, right? And you're also making sure all of the questions that your clients have, they're all being answered. You know, if a fire comes up, it's always you having to go and put those fires out with the clients, or maybe something's wrong with the sales calendar, or maybe your no-show rate is completely gone. So there's a bunch of work hours, there's a bunch of stress, and because you're so busy, you're going to have mad clients, and a lot of them because you don't have the time to actually make sure that they're getting the attention that they need. So this is not what you want to be doing. What you want to be doing is you want to be outsourcing and you want to be leveraging yourself. So as a CEO, what we have, and this is the same exact structure that we have. So I have a sales manager under us, and we have a closer and a setter. So the sales manager is going to be making sure that the setter's in check. He has all the nurturing down. He's doing the emails, right? He's calling, he's qualifying, he's DMing, right? And making sure that the setter is doing the right thing. The same with the closer. The CEO shouldn't be the one taking the closer's role, but it should be the closer taking the closer's role, right? Which is the full sales calendar. So the CEO should have a completely empty sales calendar, just making sure that he's managing the sales manager, or he's managing the CSM manager, or he's managing the CSMs. So the CEO only talks to the sales manager and he only talks to the CSM. So this is super high leverage. The closer is going to have a full sales calendar. So he's going to be calling, qualifying, nurturing, and he's going to be collecting cash as long as he does the nurture process correctly. So you're going to have a little bit higher cost than the previous structure. However, you're more leveraged, which means you're going to have less work hours. You're going to have less stress, and you're also going to be able to spend all the time that you would have on the full sales calendar or setting on making sure all of your clients are happy. So you're working on the back end. You're making sure that your clients are getting the resources that they need. You're making different SOPs for them. You're hopping on calls with clients, getting feedback, and you're implementing new things into the business. So as the CEO of the company, if you're in charge, you want to be focusing on the fulfillment, not on the acquisition. The acquisition should be running by itself. Now the question is, how do you implement this today? The reality is I just gave you every single tool, the entire structure, and everything that you need to know. But reality is I'd still beat you any day of the week, because action and implementation is the only thing that matters here. 1,000 of you guys are going to click this video. 100 of you guys are going to watch halfway through. 10 of you guys are going to watch the entire thing and maybe start next week. But 1 to 3 of you are killers, and you saw the proof, and you know that you just have to do. So this is my message for you 1 to 3 killers. I want to help you, but not you, but past Tuda, he had 1 to 3 clients, but he couldn't really grow past that. He was working in the business, not on. He couldn't split his time between clients, acquisition, and actually scaling. He kept telling himself he needs to get better at closing to grow his business. And finally, he kept seeing people that he knew didn't deserve to win. Now you might be asking, why? It's because I understand that there are so many other things that we want to do with our lives outside of scaling a business, right? Like retiring our parents, or maybe helping those in need, or it's living a life that makes you fulfilled and just guiding people in the right direction with the correct morals and values. So if this sounds aligned with you, I want to work one-on-one and hold your hand on building all of this out, customized towards your offer. And I'm only going to be taking 1 to 3 of those killers who are actually locked in for this year. So if you'd like me to help you, book a call in the description, and I look forward to meeting you. See you on the call.